this episode of the
Hello.
Aftershow.
Welcome to this episode of Podcasting with the Exercise Man. We are live.
This is a special NPR recording.
This is Missa, your guest host, ladies and gentlemen. Haha. And I am here with Daniel, Dan the Man. Say
Hey.
hello. And Thomas,
up?
a.k.a. Tommy. Don't call him Tommy. And Samajama.
Indeed.
Yep.
And so it is about 10 o'clock.
We're all tired.
No, just Tommy.
We're here to beat the record of last time, which was 3 a.m.
Oh, hell no.
Unfortunately, we have children, and they get up at 8 a.m. whether we go to bed on time or not.
I get really emotional after about 1 a.m., so
About 1 a.m. So all day.
I'm sleep deprived.
What was the most embarrassing, emotional thing you dealt with
I don't
after
know.
1 a.m.?
All I know is when Sam gets really tired, she gets really, cranky, and then
my
I get,
gosh.
really emotional, so I'm just like, oh, just give me a hug. Like, the flowers outside are so pretty. She's like, I will stab you.
Wow, this sounds like us.
Kinda, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a good comment. If we're both tired, it's not a good
Tired
comment.
and hungry.
Tired and hungry
If
for
we're
us
both
too.
hungry,
This
it's bad
guy,
news. If we're both
Hanger,
tired,
is a real deal
yeah,
with this guy.
it is.
Holy cow.
We
Yeah, when I get
snap
hungry.
at each other. We get mean.
yeah. But usually, lately, nowadays, we kind of catch it.
Yeah, because now we know
Halfway
what's
through
going
the
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. We need to eat. Don't
We need
say
to eat.
anything.
We need to eat. That's just what we need to
You're going to
do.
regret it.
Let's just go to bed.
That's
Yeah.
truth.
Anyway, so for this show, okay, so you guys are really intelligent people. Oh, don't laugh.
I just meant me.
No.
I think you're intelligent.
Well, yeah, I just haven't read all these books, so we'll see what
No,
I
these
have
aren't
first.
books. These are okay. So I have all this list of facts I know.
I have no book facts. So
No,
you're okay.
these are all facts
Me and
I've
Dan can
learned
hang.
Yeah.
mainly from Radio Lab and other podcasts that are really great. So I guess every time we start a conversation when we come over for family dinner, just so everyone knows, we do it monthly at least, and we always start did you know, blah, 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 and then it just leads to really crazy conversations. So that's what we're going to do. So Dan and I are prepared last minute.
5 minutes preparation.
Yeah, with all these facts that we
That's
know,
all
and
we
I'm
need.
just pulling it out of my brain.
This is the entire list. This is everything they know.
Yeah. This is all the things.
All the things fit on how big is this?
There you go.
Little notepad.
Halfway through, not even halfway through the notepad.
Oh, shut up.
It's like
I just
9.5
wrote
by
things
5.
down, guys. Calm down. Anyways, I know things. I'm cool. So the first thing I want to talk about is, did you know that the Earth is cubed?
It's obviously an octagon. It's obviously an octagon.
Nathan.
Shout out Nathan.
Nathan. You better be listening, Nathan. So we got Thomas, who thinks it's an octagon, and Nathan, who thinks it's cubed. Well, we're very interested in hearing what everyone else in the family thinks.
Pick
what
a shape. What are you going to go with, Dan? Triangle? Diamond?
Pyramid.
I think
Pyramid?
that we talked about it before, and we think it's spherical.
Spherical?
Call us crazy.
That's not a real
Dang.
word.
She used big words there.
Well,
Spherical.
clearly I would do a dodecahedron.
What is it? Polyhexagondonian? I don't know. I think I made that up.
Yep.
Just sounds good.
Whatever I just said. Let's go with that.
We just live on one of God's D&D dice.
Yup.
That's what we
That's
are.
all we live on.
Shoot.
Or a 20-sided die.
Man, and he rolls
Yeah, he just rolls the dice. That's
for
Earth.
everybody, though, or just
Yeah.
for Earth? Tsunami? Let's see. Saving throw.
for all we know, our entire understanding of time is just like a blink of an eye in God's time, right? So it's one dice
I
roll.
mean, we do actually know that.
the whole
so.
entire existence of the planet Earth is one dice roll.
What if people are making bets in heaven? Do you think they gamble? I think they do.
No.
Yeah, totally. No, think about it. They're looking
You ever
down.
been to
They're
Las
playing
Vegas?
craps with Earth.
No, they're looking down and they're watching us and oh, I bet they do this. I bet you $20 this is what Dan's gonna do next. They're oh, you're on.
Just dropping Earth in that roulette
I guess
wheel.
it wouldn't be $20
spinning it
though.
around.
It'd be I bet you 20 cloud jumps. I don't know.
Like the currency of heaven is just they still have dollars.
I really hope I have better
Different.
things to do. At
You
that
die
point.
and you still have to go to a desk job from 9 to 5 so you can bring
that
home the
would suck.
bacon.
Well, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Something's got to be interesting in heaven, right? Can't all be perfect.
Sure. I don't know.
But that's an interesting thought. Should we talk about that or should we not?
Let's talk about that.
Well, because I was thinking, because like,
It's a good myth.
what makes life so interesting is that there's conflict and there's struggle. Will heaven be boring? Sam, what are your thoughts?
Probably not.
I definitely don't think it will be boring. I think there will be a lot of work to do. And, I mean, it depends on what point of the journey you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So, for background, you guys are coming from a very Mormon, is it theological? Also this phrase? Mm-hmm. Religious background?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it theology, though? Is that the
Theology
word?
is,
Okay.
study of religion.
Yeah, so they're going from a Mormon
Theological,
background. For me and Dan,
philosophical.
we're like,
The
yeah.
pagan. What do you think the goat god will do?
We're more of a, where we'll be resurrected as grasshoppers. That's our belief, huh?
They're grasshopper people.
What was that comedian? He was like, there was a comedian who was like, he's in a movie theater and he was talking about, when I die, I'm gonna be reborn into this beautiful tree. And he's like, well, I hope you get cut down and printed into the Bible or something
Oh
like that.
my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. That just made me think.
That was like a really good, that was good.
Grasshopper
that?
people.
Yeah, we're
So you don't have
grasshopper
to worry
people.
about it. You're just
No,
gonna be grasshopper
whatever.
people.
You won't have to
No,
gamble.
we don't have to be
'cause-
grasshopper people. No.
Why not?
I don't know. Do you want to be grasshopper people?
Is it that bad? How do you know?
Being a grasshopper?
Yeah.
People?
I mean, it's infinitely shorter.
Yeah. You
Grasshopper?
Not
you
in their
die and you
perspective.
come back as a grasshopper.
Not in their perspective.
And then you're
Is that
fed.
what you want to believe? I guess we
You're
just
fed to a
decided
snake.
just now.
No, for all I know is that you go to heaven and it's like a really long road to get there and you have to walk the whole way and you get blisters on your feet and it sucked. And you get
Good
there and then it's
analogy.
fine and everyone has chacos and they're
Oh,
and-
everyone
and,
does
like,
have chocos.
and like buns.
That's heaven.
Long
like,
hair.
yeah, and like
They're sipping chai
man buns
lattes.
and
It's
yeah.
just like, where the hell you been? Like, you should have just taken an Uber, you dumbass. Like,
Basically, millennials, hippies, and millennials.
That's
what
heaven.
heaven's made
Or
of.
what if it isn't? What if everyone's just super old and you're just the one young person there? Could suck. Or
it,
could be
it
great.
can't be hipsters and millennials because they never shut up about anything. So
Yeah,
if that was heaven, we would have known about it by now.
Yeah.
that's true.
Word would have traveled.
It would have been a Twitter account by now.
What, heaven?
Yeah.
Like from heaven?
If it was hipsters and millennials.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Poor people. Like how everyone always is taking pictures of. Anyways, I think I'm going on a different.
I think
tangent.
I really in all honesty, I really feel like it's just whatever you perceive it to be is what it'll be. Is what heaven is.
I thought about that.
Maybe we're all just simulations.
You think it's a what dreams may come kind of reality? You guys seen that movie?
No.
It's a Robin Williams movie. It's great.
Oh, I love
It's about your heaven being basically like all the wonderful parts of your life. Just you create your own heaven, just in the same way people will create their own hell. And so, yeah, it's really
What
interesting.
if it's not though? What if it's just it could be just like it just there's nothing afterwards. What if that's the thing?
No, I don't.
And I guess there's no point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Like you don't remember before, but you don't remember after. You just
Just
remember.
die.
Which
It would
doesn't
be-
make sense
cease to
because you
exist.
remember now. So where does that go?
Maybe you're just ones and zeros. Maybe
Maybe.
we're on a
You know
snotty
what?
13-year-old's computer.
No way.
And the reason we haven't destroyed ourselves is because his mom won't give him the credit card to buy the nuclear holocaust.
Like we're in like Sims
DLC.
game.
And when that happens,
He won't buy the DLC. You don't know.
I do know.
Statistically, it's
Missa knows things.
it's-
Did you know?
it's more probabilistic that you're in a simulation than not, right?
More probabilistic. What are the numbers, Tommy? Do the math right now.
That's simple. So if you can create a simulation,
Carry the 1.
and your simulations get to a point
Carry
where
the
they can
2.
create a simulation, right?
Multiply by
Then that
3.
means that in every one real existence, there's a bajillion, like an infinite number of simulated experiences. So what statistically, what are the odds you're in the real existence?
0.02%. I
There
did
it
the
is.
We're
math in
finding
my
out
head.
is Thomas is actually an atheist.
I'm not an
I did
atheist.
the
I didn't
math.
say I was. I'm just saying, what if we're all in a digital simulation? It's
This
just an
took a
interesting
really
talking pot.
interesting turn.
Alex and I talk about it all the time because I'm just like,
Simulations.
yeah, what if we were just like, it's all just a digital simulation? Like,
Hmm.
but see, that's the thing though, because even if you're in a digital simulation, like God and religion and heaven, all of that could still be part of the simulation.
so we're just gonna wake up in these like gel-filled pods.
No, like
and
we
to
don't even
pull on
have to
metal.
exist. We're just ones and zeros.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
I don't like that.
Missa doesn't like that at all.
No, I'm
For all
shaking
we
my
know,
head.
we're on like some political candidates like computer right now. They're trying to figure out like which way to get their candidate to win, and they're just like simulating all possibilities.
Oh my
Like
gosh. No.
You just-
No.
your ones and zeros.
I don't want to be a 1 and 0.
I don't think we are, because it's a really bleak existence.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
I don't actually believe that we are, but
Oh, thanks for
it's
clarifying.
an interesting thought.
Interesting. That's another
That's all.
interesting
So this
thought.
is what happens when we talk about space junk.
Oh
Yeah, space
gosh,
junk.
did you know? What was I going to say about space junk?
I don't know.
But there's a ton. Yeah, I had written space junk. But there's a ton of space junk out there. Did you know that? All just floating in our atmosphere?
Yeah,
And that they have, and they have people that actually, see, they're both nodding. See, this is going to be hard. I'm going to stump them, you guys. They already knew this. But they have people that track the space junk that just falls from the sky all the time.
Because old satellites, I mean, we've been sending satellites and things up into the air and like.
Yeah.
Especially during like the very beginning when Russia first sent their satellites, and then it was a race to send the satellites up
And they're
into
just
space.
junk. They're like legit junk.
Yeah, they just die, and then nobody goes and collects them. They just float around and burn up in the atmosphere.
But there's a crap ton.
oh no, there's so much.
There's, like, so much
it's
traffic.
pretty ridiculous.
That's why whenever you look at like the future, like sci-fi videos or shows or whatever, like a lot of times dystopian futures will show like the Earth completely surrounded by space
All
junk.
the junk, yeah. No, people have to they have to navigate through that too when they go out into space
Oh, yeah.
and everything. But I think, speaking of movies, like they never show that in the movies, right?
I don't know.
Well, because I,
feel
think
like
it's.
some do, don't they? I don't know.
I feel
which
like
ones,
once you
though.
get to a certain point, it's not like you can see rings of garbage around the Earth. Like it's there, but it's not. Like if you were out in space looking at the Earth, you wouldn't see it with the naked eye. It's more like it's spread out and it orbits.
Yeah.
But it definitely is.
Well, I mean, we still. We don't do that many shuttle launches of people into space. I don't think. But
Oh, we have the International
yeah, we have
Space
the
Station.
International Space
Yeah.
We
Station.
have to supply them.
yeah, so would it be worth it to send somebody out to clean up that stuff?
I don't know. I don't
Just
think we
some
have the
guy in a
technology.
janitor
I mean,
onesie.
like,
Yeah.
what are you? I'm a NASA janitor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a space janitor.
You're gonna go float, like you're gonna be a janitor. Like, why not?
That would be such crappy work.
That would
I
be the
think-
worst job.
I think in the
That would be
grand
the
scheme of
worst.
things that we need to clean up, there are things that are higher priority at this point in time.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
think about it.
Space
Like,
junk.
That's
the
what I'm saying,
space
is it
junk
worth
is
it?
traveling at like hundreds of miles per hour, right?
Well, I'm sure that they could figure out some way to rig up like a net. I
a
am
big
100%
net.
sure. No, it would be
a fisherman.
stationary, right? Or not stationary, but
What would we attach
Orbiting-
it to?
To a
what are you talking about? What do you would attach it to? I'm not just saying you should launch a net out in space. I'm saying you have two like posts and you set it in orbit and then you have a net in between those posts and they
catch all the things.
Catch all the things, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
not all of them, but
You
you,
know, I
have
was
to do
thinking-
an orbit at a time, right? Because you've got a spherical Earth. Yes, the Earth is spherical for those
Yeah, but the Earth
questioning.
is spinning, and the Earth is also rotating around the sun at an imperfect, like actual, like the Earth doesn't follow a perfect rotation.
I'm
around
not saying
the
it
sun.
does, but if it's in the gravity of the Earth, like if it's following the same trails of the other space junk,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
I
enough
guess.
that they can predict it.
yeah.
So they can okay, you gotta fly through blah
Maybe
blah
that
blah.
works. Yeah.
No.
But is it worth it? Like, would that
I
help
think
us?
it might get to a
Clean it.
point where it would be worth
Maybe
it.
eventually, yeah.
But I think right now there's like
Depending on how
whole
much
oceans
junk.
of garbage we need to
Oh,
take care
yeah.
of first.
The
so.
floating,
the floating island of
Isn't that
between
gonna
crap.
crash
Japan and
into?
Hawaii.
Isn't that gonna crash
Yeah,
into
that was
California
gonna
or something?
say.
Isn't there something like that?
I hope it does.
There's a giant. Isn't it just made out of fat?
It's just like plastic.
Or is it
and
just there's an
garbage.
island
It's
of
like-
garbage,
It's
right?
plastic, yeah. I
It's
know
in
a lot
between
of it's
Japan and
plastic.
Hawaii.
Oh,
It's
that
just,
stuff
like,
makes me cry, you guys.
so much.
Isn't it like the
plastic.
size of Texas or something?
Yeah, it's huge.
something insane.
Huge. No, there was so much that
I don't
people
know if
like they
it's
sent
Texas,
someone
but-
out there and someone was standing on top of it. Like
Yeah, it's
a
like an
huge
island
mass.
of
Yeah,
Plastic, yeah.
it's ridiculous.
So anyway, we need to figure out how
Wow.
to deal with our own garbage first
All right.
before we.
Just send it in space.
Well, and what's frustrating is that, I don't know, like America, like we're not even at fault for most of that garbage. Like
Yeah.
the Asian and the third world countries, like across the world, are like they put out so much junk, and it's so frustrating to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we can't control that,
Have you seen the trash tag on Reddit?
I don't have Reddit.
Somebody started a trend called trash tag. It basically like paid some people in third world countries to like spend a day picking and paid like everybody who did it $5 to pick up trash, and became this whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, now they're like cleaning up all over the world.
About damn time. Gosh.
So, I mean, it's imperceptible the amount of good they're doing, but
It's a
Yeah.
start.
It's a start.
No, I definitely think so. If you go to almost any other country, most countries, I guess, first world countries, a lot of first world countries have really strict recycling laws, like Japan and Germany and the Nordic countries. Like all of them have really stringent recycling laws. Mm-hmm. And like in Japan, it's crazy. Like everything is sorted by type, and you can only put plastic bottle. Like you have to take all the labels off of everything and tie your cardboard up into a nice package and make sure that if there's any plastic labels on anything, it goes in the plastic recycling. But it's crazy. But honestly, it's something that in the U.S. we need to be a lot better about.
Yeah.
In Japan.
And
Japan.
there's like Finland too. They charge you. I don't know if it's Finland or Sweden.
Canada charges.
They'll charge you per trash bag, but you can have as many recycling bags as you want.
Oh, interesting.
So like, you're better off recycling because otherwise you get charged for every trash bag they throw in the dumpster.
Well, it
Versus,
frustrates me because with the first place we lived in when we got married, we paid for our garbage service and we paid the extra money to get a recycling bin.
yeah,
And we recycled so much stuff. And then here in this apartment, they have no interest in getting us recycling bins.
Oh, no.
And
It's not
so-
a priority.
And it bothers me because there's like probably 90% of the trash we make could be recycled.
Oh, Dan, I have Dan. I mean, he's a saint and just takes all the recycling to his work.
Or just throw it in there.
Yeah, but
Because
I
we,
don't know.
you know, we
pretty
get stuff on
convenient.
Amazon and all those boxes and all that stuff. Like I want to recycle it, and there's no place for me to really do that.
There's no because usually they have dumpsters around.
You got to
recycling
pay
dumpsters.
for them
There's
extra.
nothing.
Yeah,
You,
you pay
you
extra
guys
to
have to
get
do it
them.
individually. You have to call and then pay like
That's
extra.
ridiculous.
And I could take it to places like they have these things called Recyclops, which is just for like cardboard. And then over like across town is a little place where you can recycle glass. And I'd love to say that I'm that dedicated, but I'm just not.
No.
to make it
Understandable.
convenient and easy
Like,
for people
well,
to
it would be very, very inconvenient. Like I'd have to schedule extra trips, which, yes, I know, so first world problems that it's ridiculous. But it's just one of those things that
truth.
like with
Am I
3
right?
kids, like having to like package up all of my stuff and live, because I can't let it just sit out in front of my house. So I'd have to keep it in my house until I had enough to go recycle. Anyway, it's just really inconvenient. So I'm looking forward to when I have a house. I'll definitely 100% pay.
Well, then I
have a
also
recycling
feel guilty every time we throw food away because that food decomposes and builds like gas in the bags.
So my friend
That's
taught me a
so
trick in
awful.
Germany, and what she would do is any food waste she had, she would flush.
Oh, really? Down the toilet? Oh, wow.
Because you think about it, that's what you're doing anyway.
Yeah, but that would be better. But I don't know, I just want to get a compost pile in a garden so I can just let that rot.
For sure, I want to do a compost pile. I would love to get one of those like solar hot compost bins that you just rotate. Like you put all your kitchen scraps in.
Do you guys plan on doing a garden?
Oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
Like corn and stuff. Yeah.
Make
Oh,
it
not
our
that
house.
crazy, because
Like
I don't
big-
think I'd have enough space.
Like tilling a big squared area.
we're gonna do.
I'm gonna do
aquaponics.
raised. I'm gonna do raised beds.
Aquaponics.
I'm gonna do raised beds.
that what
Actually,
your dad does, or you
that side
hydroponic?
yard with the
Oh,
basketball stand would be a
aquaponics.
perfect place to do it. Hydroponics.
Yeah,
I guess it's the same thing.
you have to build a little thing for
Aqua
it,
and
but
hydro.
Yeah, but once we've got it fenced
What?
in, it'd be
Aqua and hydroponics the same thing.
no,
Isn't it?
no. Hydroponics is growing plants in water, and what is it called? Aqua farming is growing fish. Aquaponics is growing fish and plants.
Oh, okay.
So aquaponics uses
your
the
dad
fish.
does aquaponics.
Yeah, so aquaponics uses the fish waste to fertilize the plants, and then uses the oxygen and stuff the plants produce.
But you gotta
True.
say, did you know?
Cycle through.
Did you know?
What? Well, now you know, so now it'd be a dumb question.
Well, yeah, just say it and then
Did
we
you
can-
know?
Or didn't you know?
Yeah,
That stuff.
That's the theme, Tommy.
Did
Get
you
with
know?
it. Okay, cool.
Did you know?
Did you know? Speaking of something else. So you were talking about poison control in the last podcast we did. So we did couples. Just to remind everyone, listen to it. But poison control was actually started by a doctor, a single man. You knew that?
Yeah.
Son of a.
Yeah. He just kind of started. He was a pharmacist.
Yeah.
He just started doing calls.
Yeah. He just was like, there's a need for this. And so he started taking calls late into the night and started poison control.
Yeah. To be fair, you told me this. This is how I know.
I feel like, I was gonna say, I feel like we
darn it.
talked about this.
Yeah, you talked about it.
Oh, I
Did you know
told
Neil deGrasse
guys.
Tyson was almost a male stripper before he was an astrophysicist?
Really?
I didn't know that.
That's it,
You
yeah.
win that one.
Yep.
Who was?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
He visited the club, watched the dancers perform to the song Great Balls of Fire, then left immediately and became a math tutor instead.
Dang, okay, you need to cite the source that you're using right now. So Dan's reading
The
off some...
internet.
It's called theonion.com.
Maybe. That could very well be the case.
Wait, you don't know
Snopes?
where it's from?
No, I took a screenshot of it.
Oh my gosh. All of my facts are from NPR, just so everyone knows.
NPR.
Fairly reputable source. Whatever. NPR is the best.
I always think of, man, every time I think of NPR, I think of the music, when they do the music bit. And there was a lady in Colorado Springs, her name was Vicky. She never said her last name, but she had the smoothest radio, like, hey, this is Vicky. And what you just heard was some Sound Tribe, Sector 9.
You're all about Vicky.
She was, man, it's just like I'd have a stressful day, Vicky would come on, and everything would just be relaxed.
That's just what NPR is. It's just like ear candy.
Not in Utah.
They're so chill.
No, Utah sucks. Do you listen to NPR in Utah?
No, I don't listen to NPR
Ugh,
at all.
I don't like it.
I
They
don't
talk about
anymore.
such boring stuff. They do. I was just like, I don't care about this. Let's move on. I don't know.
That's how I feel about NPR in general.
Shut up. You never listen to Radio Lab. That's why.
I feel like you told us about unicorn hunting once. Did you ever tell us?
No.
All right.
No.
Dan's
Lake
gonna
Superior
do... No, you
State
gotta
University.
say, did you know?
Did you know
There you
that
go.
Lake Superior State University in Michigan offers a unicorn hunting license? Unsurprisingly, the chief herald of the unicorn hunters was once quoted saying, "The pursuit of the unicorn is a lonely quest. We wish them nothing but good luck."
Oh my gosh. If somebody shoots a unicorn, I'm going to be pissed because it's probably the only one.
You
The
know,
last
I
unicorn.
doubt it.
The last unicorn. You think there's
What?
more unicorn?
Probably. I mean,
Did you
if there is
know-
one, there's probably more than one. That's generally how genetics and...
No, freaking reindeer are extinct down in the lower 48 states. Did you know that?
Did you know there are more tigers in Texas than in Africa?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why are there more tigers in
Because
Texas?
Texans are crazy and keep them as pets.
Yes, they have like private zoos. I didn't hear about that.
There are more there are more tigers like in captivity in Texas by private individuals than there
Oh my
are in the
gosh.
wild.
That's crazy. That kind of makes me mad. Did you hear? Oh my gosh. What was it that I told you about? The guy, someone in Colorado or someone in one of the states where weed is legal. He or she was smoking. She was so high. She went into a garage to smoke some weed and she found a freaking lion. What was it?
Yeah, it was a lion in a garage.
A lion
that
in a
someone,
cage in
like,
a garage.
was smuggling in there, was gonna sell like on the
Oh
black
yeah, it was
market.
in an
Ever.
abandoned house.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in
in
an
a
It was an
abandoned
abandoned house.
And she called it in, and then did they
She-
find the guy who was
She just
doing
went in
it?
to like
no.
smoke weed, and there was like this
Yeah,
lion, and they like didn't
and
even
she's
recognize
like-
the fact that it
she's
was a
like-
lion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like what a good stoner though to
They're
like.
just like smoking dope, and they're like, "Oh,
Oh, that would be so
Well,
trippy. You'd
crap,
be like,
is that a lion?"
I'm
God,
gonna
what
go.
am I smoking? Yeah, like what is this?
Yeah.
What is this cut with?
That's so nice of her to like call it in though. She's like, yeah, I was just smoking dope.
I mean, if
I
it's
found a
legal,
lion.
there's nothing to be ashamed of.
I don't know if it was legal. I wonder where was it at? It was something that was like, oh, that's cool that they called it in even
I
though
think it
was
was
illegal.
Texas.
Was it Texas?
Is
Probably.
it legal in Texas?
Because no, it's not.
flip.
It's illegal in
I
Texas.
could see it being illegal in Texas.
But
I think
that's
it's only legal
I
in
think
like,
that's
New
where
York,
that came
California,
from, that-
Colorado, and Washington.
because I heard this story, and then they were talking about how there are more tigers in captivity in Texas.
Yeah.
Because whoever I was listening to was like, "What the freak? What's going on in Texas? Why do they just have like tigers or lions in
That's
there?"
crazy.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's more. Maybe it's lions. But there are more lions in captivity, and probably a mixture of both, actually."
Have you heard of the online joke about the Florida man?
Florida
Yeah.
man.
You
Yeah.
just put in like your birthday, and then it'll tell you like we
Yeah.
did that the other day.
Did Florida man and birthday. What did yours say? Do you remember?
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah.
What is it?
You just
You
type
just type
in
in Florida
Florida.
man and
You
your
Google
birthday.
Florida
Oh
man.
yeah, and every time you typed in something, it had some crazy thing
yeah,
going on.
Florida man.
I don't remember what mine was.
Yours was like sad.
Mine's,
was like-
mine's great. I really
Oh
like
wait, what was it? Oh, there it goes. Mine was Florida man spotted riding jet ski on Florida road.
Florida
mine
man
sad?
high on Flocka has sex with tree and calls himself Thor.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
A man high in Flocka attacked an officer, proclaimed himself God, and had sexual relation with a tree, according to a report.
Oh, that's going viral. See, like all the ones are like, what did Florida man do on your birthday? Oh, what the?
Florida
Florida.
man drops stolen TV from getaway scooter.
That's pretty legit.
Well,
Florida man tries to exchange marijuana for food at McDonald's.
for my birthday, it says Florida man bites his brother's penis off after he walks in on his brother having sex with his cousin.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
got
gosh.
The after show, the rated R.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Anyways, Florida is kind of like the armpit of the
You're gonna have to
United
put
States.
a parental.
Yeah.
No, Bakersfield is the armpit of the United States.
Oh,
No,
man.
Bakersfield's the armpit of California, but the state of Florida is the armpit of the United
No,
States.
You
no.
hear? Okay, Tommy, come on.
Bakersfield's-
You're kidding yourself.
It's
Because
crazy.
he's never been to Florida.
Like
I have been to
you
Florida.
hear
When have
most
you been
about
to Florida?
Florida, though. I hear stuff about Bakersfield from you.
No, Florida
one
is
else.
filled with crazy people. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but Florida's actually kind of nice.
Kind of.
Bakersfield's
Except for all the
terrible.
gators that you're gonna children eating.
Florida's filled with crazy
like
people.
at Disney World. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gators
3 years
like
ago.
chomped a kid. Oh my gosh, I don't
The
want to hear
worst.
about that.
Yeah, we lost a kid in Lagoon. See, he could have been eaten by a gator.
Utah Gator.
I'm gonna put you
Utah
in
gator.
psychotherapy if you talk about that anymore.
Did you know that they had raptors in Utah? They're called the Utah Raptors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see?
I told you about that, and you were like, "That's bull."
I didn't say bull. I got
Yeah,
excited.
We were
Have you
driving
ever been to the-
on the highway. I remember.
The
In-
Bean Museum.
Whatever.
No, it's not the Bean Museum. It's the Dinosaur Museum.
Natural
Yeah.
history?
It's just the BYU Natural History Museum. They have dioramas of the Utah Raptors.
Do you know they've changed their model of raptors and believe they had feathers now?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
know that.
Did you know that Alan Grant from Jurassic Park was the first one to say that?
No.
What? What? Have you never seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah, like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. Watch it again. We'll watch it right now. Let's turn it on.
It is surprising though that the Natural History Museum there didn't have anything on the Utah Raptors.
Yeah, they did.
They did. I was
Yeah.
looking. I didn't see anything.
I thought they did. We went to there.
They do a
Remember the
lot of the
dinosaur
Museum
park in
Innovation
Canyon
Live.
City?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I still. That was the
It's
most
so dumb.
disappointing moment of my life. We went to this dinosaur park in Canyon City, Colorado. I was super excited. Let me just say, I love
the kids
dinosaurs.
too.
So much fun.
Yeah, it was literally 2 rooms. Like we went in and I was like, oh weird, they have like a playroom like at the beginning of the museum. Like why would they do that? And that was it. I was so devastated.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We have one in Utah. And we take the
awesome.
kids to. It takes like 45 minutes to walk
really?
there.
Good. We're going to that, Dan.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like we took the kids. It takes forever to walk through. Like you're walking through, like you've got dinosaurs on the walls and you got all these like
Good.
crazy.
That's cool.
That's what I was expecting when we went to that.
Yeah, but like didn't we pay like $12 a person or something
No,
ridiculous?
It was like $4 or $5.
No, it was like $12 or something.
Yeah, it was like
for
10
adults,
or
but not
12.
for the kids.
Yeah.
Well,
but for-
yeah, but still, that's like $12 of my time for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really
so
sad I didn't get to
pissed.
go because I was sick, and then I wasn't.
Yeah, Dan was like puking his guts out, and I was like, "Oh, poor Dan.
I was like, I'm sorry,
He's
I
gonna
really want
miss
to go.
the adventure of a lifetime."
And then you're like, no. I was like, all right.
Oh, I was so mad. I think I was the only one pissed about it, huh?
You're pretty
Everyone was
livid.
like, "Yeah, it's whatever." You know, the
pretty
kids are like,
upset.
"Whatever, we got a playroom," and I'm like, "This is bull crap."
All I was upset about was Big Burger World was still closed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because we only go down to holiday, and every holiday we go,
closed.
they're
Oh,
closed.
it's so good.
Because we always
But we
remember
did
to
get
go.
an inordinate amount of fudge.
Inordinate.
We
Ornament.
ate like 3 pounds of fudge over
Yeah, I
Thanksgiving.
remember.
Oh,
I
you
remember
did?
some of that
Yeah,
fudge. It
so
was
much
pretty
fun.
good.
It's such good fudge, and it was a new discovery.
Yeah.
Like we just found out about it, and
It's just someplace
It's so good.
downtown.
it's like a floral shop, like right next to Big Burger World.
Was it? Oh, it was
Yeah.
in. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we've
okay.
seen that place.
Mom was way into it. And
No,
she
Big
was
Burger World is the hidden gem of like Canyon City,
Yeah,
Florence.
and she won't. I think.
That lady was super cool.
Regina
who owns that,
Mazzarelli,
yeah.
she's awesome. She
She's way
she
cool.
catered our open house for free because she was one of the first people I knew that I told that we were married because I couldn't hold the secret in, you know. So I was like, "Can I just tell you I'm married?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "When's the celebration? We'll totally cater it." And she like gave us all this food for free.
She catered like, was there like a broccoli salad?
Yeah,
There's
there
like
was,
a
like-
salad mix.
There was a salad mix. There was like vegetables. There was
2 different pans of pulled pork.
Yeah, sandwiches.
She just
like
here you go.
everything. No, she's a saint.
Yeah, it was super nice of her to do that.
It's legit.
Anyways, Big
she's
Burger
way
World's
cool.
where
Well,
it's at.
plus Big Burger World has like legit burgers.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're pretty
it's
good.
great. Go to
They're really
Big Burger World if you don't know what Big Burger World is.
Yes, if you ever find yourself in
Advertising.
Canyon City, Colorado,
Sorry.
Yeah.
but-
for any reason, go to Big
Big
Burger
Burger
World
World.
and cross your fingers and spit that it's open.
Yeah.
What? Cross your fingers and spit?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a saying. Didn't you know that?
It's like an old Indian ritual.
Yeah, if you're buried in an avalanche.
Yeah, what about
It comes through very
Really?
loudly in there. Yeah.
Stop.
The taps
Is
are
it too
very
loud?
No, they're just very obvious when you tap.
Oh, really?
Duh,
You
Dan,
hear it
stop
really
tapping.
strongly.
All right, tell me when you
No,
can hear it.
please stop. This is
At
making
what
me
decibel
really
level
annoyed.
did you
Come
know?
on.
Give me the
I'm glad you have
exact
those headphones in, though.
tap
Or
seat.
else it'd be tapping the whole time. Like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh, stop it.
I'm
All
not
right,
doing
what
it.
else? What else do we know?
Okay,
what
what
other
else?
facts
You
do
guys
we
know
have?
so
Yeah,
much.
throw one.
No, I
I
just want to
had
say,
one.
like, that was just talking about Thanksgiving. That totally threw me off guard when you threw a handful of mashed potatoes at me for to catch. When you guys were playing catch with the potatoes
Everybody
in the
knew what that
kitchen.
was, but
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I thought you were like throwing around a roll because they were like throwing around like a white thing, like a handful of white.
We had a wad of mashed potatoes
And
and
they
we were
would
tossing.
take a
we had hot
bite.
potatoes.
Because only in the Tingy house is it an acceptable activity to throw a wad of mashed
We were playing
potatoes
hot
around.
potato.
And Missa walks in. Oh, cool. What's this?
Yeah,
And it's like,
pass it to
oh.
me, and it was like splat, and I was like, oh my gosh! And so I took a bite and I threw it back, and it was all good. But that was like such a surprise.
Yeah, I don't know how this started.
Totally unexpected, but that was fun.
Oh, somebody like dipped into the mashed potatoes, and then we're like, oh.
You know what's really funny?
And
You
then
know
I
what's
started
really
passing around.
funny?
I think it was.
Okay, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way.
You
Oh
probably shouldn't.
no!
Then. Nope, don't.
Uh-oh.
Well, now
what's
you
going
have
on?
to.
No.
I was just gonna,
Nope.
I was
Nope.
gonna say the Tingy kids.
Run interference. Run
the Tingy
interference. I don't
kids
know what you're gonna
are
say.
the kind of kids that my parents are like, they can't come over and play anymore.
That's fair.
Throw
I'm
mashed
proud
potatoes
of
around.
that.
That was
honestly.
totally John who started that because I remember standing there and I was like, just do it, man. Just scoop a big handful out. Just take a bite. Just do it. And then he did it and then he passed it and that's how it started. I remember that.
No, that's really funny. We're rough.
Here's one from Missa.
Okay.
A human will eat on average.
No, you gotta
70
say, did you know?
Did you know,
Thank
Missa,
Yeah.
that
Whoa.
a human will eat on average 70 assorted insects and 10 spiders while sleeping?
No,
yeah.
that's not real.
It is real.
They just said that it wasn't real though.
Is that
Oh,
real?
really?
I don't know if that is real.
No.
Well, are you
I
I
reading
know
the
that you
Onion?
can eat. I know
I
that you'll
don't
eat
care.
bug parts because there's actually like an acceptable limit of bug parts that are allowed in cereals.
Yeah.
100% true. They have like inspections
Oh, weird.
in cereal plants because
Ew.
a lot of it is like corn and wheat, right?
Don't ruin cereal for
I'm
the
not. I'm just
Tingy
saying
family.
that like in each box or each batch,
There's
they're
a
allowed to
certain
have a
amount of
certain
bugs.
of like bug parts.
This is like the main food source of
Man.
teens, man.
There was a movie that has the guy who plays Captain America. He did this movie. It was on Netflix
Chris
where
Pine?
Snowpiercer.
yeah,
No,
it was a
Chris
Snowpiercer where they're
Evans?
just eating
Yeah.
where they live on a train.
Yeah, and they're
they're
like
eating-
they're protein bars. Or
They're just like
ground
these
up
Jello.
cockroaches.
Yeah, they're just ground up
Ew.
cockroaches and they're just eating Jello. These like
Yeah.
Jello bricks.
Oh my gosh.
They're like the-
like
little
almost 100% protein. I mean that's
Snowpiercer is a great movie.
I've never
I like
seen
that movie.
It's
It was-
crazy weird.
Huh.
There's a
It's pretty sci-fi.
There's this pretty awesome conspiracy theory that the Snowpiercer, the guy in Snowpiercer, is the kid that takes over for Willy Wonka. Like
What?
a continuation. Yeah, there's like this crazy theory that connects Willy Wonka to Snowpiercer. And like the actual story is like really interesting about like how it all ties together.
Wait, so like it
didn't
was
know
Willy
Snowpiercer.
Wonka and then Snowpiercer, or the other way around?
No, so Willy Wonka, and then the kid comes in and takes over, right? And then William or whatever his name is, right?
Yeah.
And then after he's taken over for Willy Wonka, he like builds a train around the world as like a whimsical thing. And then
Then Snowpiercer.
that's what Snowpiercer is based off, is this train that runs around the globe. And then it's all like this theory about like how he would know that the world was gonna get ruined, and like because
Good
Willy
grief.
Wonka was like super smart, right? Like the stuff he was building in the Wonka factory was like
Yeah, it was.
crazy and whimsical, and there's parts of that in Snowpiercer. Like you see these little parts of the whimsical, like the sushi they eat, and like the different
Yeah.
parts of the thing is very Willy Wonka.
Is that still on Netflix?
Maybe
What, Snowpiercer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched it.
It was a long time ago when I saw it on Netflix.
I thought it was an indie movie, and then I realized like halfway through that it's like the guy Captain America,
Yeah.
Chris Evans. Is that
Chris
his name?
Evans, yeah.
And I was like, wait, is that Chris Evans? Like, what the freak? Like, I thought it was just some weird indie movie, and it turned out to be like a legit blockbuster film. It's a great show. Snowpiercer is like hella weird. But
Yeah, so the world freezes over, everything's dead, and the only way they can live, the last few people are on this train, and the people in the end of the train are like the poor urchins of the world, what's left of the world, and then the farther you go up to the front, it's more richer and wealthier.
There's like a whole conspiracy. Oh, and then the girl,
what
like
was
the wicked girl that in the very beginning, she's like announcing stuff, and she does all the stuff. She's like the girl that fell into she's the snotty girl on Willy Wonka. And it's a crazy theory. I'm gonna send it to you because it's like
that's interesting.
It's a really good theory.
I'm pretty sure Thomas spends way too much time on Reddit.
I didn't read this on Reddit. I just read it on.
Oh,
somewhere.
you read? Oh,
I read it.
You read it. Get it?
Wait, there's something I want to clear up first.
Okay.
Ruined.
What?
Everything's ruined.
What's ruined?
What?
Say ruined.
Ruined.
Thomas likes to say ruined.
Ruined.
He ruined it.
He ruined it.
My dad
Ruined
says
it.
It's ruined.
It's ruined.
It's ruined.
Ruined.
It's RUI.
Ruined.
Have you ever seen
You know what? I think
Mike
I've
the
said
movie
that too,
My Cousin
Ruined.
Vinny?
Mm-mm.
No, so
Oh, that's a good show.
that's actually a really good movie. It has Joe Pesci and the Karate Kid's actually in it, but he's older.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically these guys from New York, from like Queens, strong New York accent. They go down on a college vacation trip to the South, and then they get arrested mistakenly for robbing shooting the clerk at a convenience store. And so they have his uncle, his cousin Vinny comes down to be the lawyer, and he's like failed the bar exam like 6 times.
He's very New York.
Very New York. And he goes, yeah, these 2 Utes here. And he goes, Utes? He goes, youths. Sorry to the judge. Youths. And he comes in with like a leather jacket, you know. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, very
a lot
out
of swearing,
place.
but it's a good show.
No, it's good.
So
No,
maybe
but
Thomas
I
is
think
notorious for that kind of stuff.
going back to your fact, though, I think that's false.
The bugs?
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe the spiders part, but
I don't
definitely
remember.
not the bug
Definitely
parts.
the spider part.
70
Because
is
there
a
was
lot of
something
bugs.
where they I read somewhere or something. I didn't read the full article, but they just proved it because spiders are very aware of vibrations and
They're just not
noises.
going to climb down
Yeah.
your throat and be like,
No.
this is a warm, wet spot.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna live in here."
because you're breathing, and so it freaks them out,
You're
and they're
wet,
like,
and your mouth is generally not
oh, I hate
hanging wide
spiders.
open.
My mom's friend, when I was a kid, I lived in California, she used to scare me by saying that if you this lady licked an envelope and a cockroach laid eggs on the sticky part of the envelope. And so after a while, her tongue started to grow and pulsate with this like half cockroach egg, half tongue thing.
gosh.
And then they hatched and went like
Ew.
crazy. Just when I was a little
terrifying.
kid, man. Yeah, it was way terrifying.
There's some kid just died from tapeworm in his brain.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So if you're in like third world countries or whatever,
Yeah.
and the pigs like get mixed in with human feces essentially, like
Oh
you
my
don't have good
gosh.
sanitation, you can get tapeworm into your. And
So
so anyway, so
sense.
you eat it gets into your bloodstream and it goes to your brain, and then it lay eggs in your brain,
No.
and you get like cysts.
Oh, that's
And there's like no
awful.
symptoms, like you just get confused, and then they did like an MRI, and they were just like,
Oh my god.
Full of
okay.
them, or
Yeah.
it was just one?
It was just cyst. It was
Oh,
like
man.
where the eggs hatched and whatnot, and it's just like
Jeez.
his whole brain is MRI. It's just like dotted with all these.
That sucks.
So it's
Speaking
like
of which-
gory conversation.
Yeah.
here.
Well, did you hear about the woman? I think she was in India. I actually don't know, but she had a baby, and then she had 2 more babies that she didn't know she had. Did you hear about her? She had 2 uteruses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So she had one
was
baby.
it in India?
No, it was in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
So she
okay.
had a baby a little bit early. I think it was a
Uh-huh.
couple weeks early, and then like 26 days later,
had 2
she
more
had twins.
babies. But yeah, because
She
they
had 2
didn't do
uteruses.
ultrasounds or anything.
yeah, because their prenatal care doesn't usually involve ultrasounds unless there's some kind of
Yeah,
like
because not as
high
widely
risk.
available.
But 2 uteruses.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
That's actually not. I mean, yes, it's uncommon, but there's actually quite a few people that have, because it explains in the article, but the way that your body grows a uterus is that it has your fallopian tubes come down, and it has 2 chambers, and the chambers, as you're developing, fuse. Mm-hmm. And then some women, even though they fuse, like the middle part doesn't dissolve all the way, so they have to go in and do surgery so that they have just the one uterus that's functional, because otherwise you can't carry a baby because it's not big enough, because that piece in the middle doesn't stretch like it's supposed to. So they'll take that out, and then sometimes it's just heart shaped. Like my uterus is actually a little bit heart shaped,
Mine is too.
and that's fairly common because you
What
have
about
the
yours,
2
Dan?
things.
I almost said so is mine. Mine's actually cube.
You know what? I honestly want to do like another podcast where just all the ladies sit down and talk just about girl stuff.
Yeah.
Women's anatomy.
Only the other girls
Yeah.
will listen to it, so it'd be pointless.
Why do I not know
No
women's anatomy?
way. Do you?
I do actually, Missa.
I don't know.
I've read a book on it.
You did. Oh, Tommy, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. So many people don't.
Get off me.
A lot of even women don't even know their own anatomy.
Well, we
they
also
make
know
fun
a
of
lot
this in
about it
Orange is the New
because-
Black.
We also know a lot about it because when you do it in vitro, like you learn so much about the human reproductive system that a lot of people don't even think about.
Yeah.
Like the point in your cycle and like how everything works and like all the crazy stuff.
No, like the female
Yeah, the
body is
nitty-gritty.
kind of insane.
It is. And the amount of
very
things
intricate.
that have to go perfectly right to have like
Yes.
a healthy full-term baby is insane. And the fact that it happens more often than not.
It's a miracle.
It's a
It's just
It really is
crazy.
a miracle.
There's so many things that could go like terribly wrong. It's just amazing. Like,
But they most of the time
it's
don't.
so complicated, and there's not like some like your body just knows, right? Like the cells just divide and do their thing, and it's like this whole
Oh my gosh.
like a tiny little M2 cell.
Well, even just being alive, like as a human, not even as a growing, like this is crazy. Like synapses are going so quickly that I'm able to form thoughts and speak right at that moment, you know? Like it blows my mind if you think about all the middle school things that are going on right now in order for me to speak and move my fingers like this, you know? It's just
It's true.
Yeah.
so many chemical processes. No, the human body is just
Electrical
insane.
currents.
I kind of want to do study human anatomy just to know about human anatomy. 'cause
I've
it
read
just
probably
blows my mind.
30 neuroscience books.
They're the best. I love neuroscience. Oh my gosh. That's cool that you did that. I saw a brain, like a real human brain once in college, and I almost fainted.
My aunt brought one home in a bag once.
What?
I saw
A
one.
human brain?
So my aunt is amazing. She was a double major in mechanical engineering and pre-med.
Uh-huh.
And when my family lived in Ohio, she was working at at Ford.
The
I
motor
think it was
company.
at Ford. Yeah, I'm trying to think if it was that though, because my
They had
grandpa.
an accident on the line, and she didn't want to waste a good specimen.
Damn, Tommy.
Getting to the point,
You settle
but I
down,
appreciate that you're willing to wait for me to tell the rest.
Shut
Of the
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm getting tired.
Anyway, she worked for the audio industry for like 7 years, and then ended up going to medical school. Mm-hmm. And one day just brought home like a brain specimen in
That's
a Ziploc.
so insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of brains, did you know that at one point
Brains.
psychologists actually didn't believe in love? They didn't think it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Ha! No, you didn't know that. You paused for a really long time. You did not know
I
that.
was trying to remember the book I read it in.
No.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
they
I'll
talk
tell
about
you.
it in Homo Deus.
Yeah, because they would actually tell parents that you shouldn't pick up your baby, you shouldn't cuddle them too much. They were afraid of loving, quote unquote, loving too much would be detrimental to the development of your child. Yeah, and it was like.
Which is insane because it's
Oh, yeah.
literally the most important thing you could do for your
But
child.
here's the thing: it was like in the Well, now they know that, but
It's
back
100%
in the 19
necessary for development.
Yes, it is. Back in I think it was like the 1940s, whenever they were just discovering what causes diseases to happen, all they could figure out was that the kids in hospitals who were picked up the most, this is before they figured out bacteria and stuff could be passed around. They figured that the kids who got picked up the most got sick the most. And so you had pediatricians actually telling their parents, don't pick up your kid.
Which is
But-
crazy because, I don't know, I can't even imagine. I
No.
literally, when Ivy was born, I probably carried her, and the twins too. Like, I didn't hardly use a stroller.
Yeah.
In fact, we haven't used a stroller in
I
forever
love
because
that.
I just carry them. And I don't just like carry them in my arms, but I just strap them to me with a ring sling or other baby wearing contraption, because there's so many. So children, especially of human beings and like monkeys and other species in that kind of genus, we are meant to have what they call the 4th trimester. So essentially you have 3 trimesters of carrying your baby. And when they're born, they're actually not all the way, like, obviously our kids don't come out of the womb being able to care for themselves.
Yeah.
And so there's actually what they call the 4th trimester, which, yes, I realize that tri is 3 and like, putting 4
I didn't
at the
even
beginning.
realize that.
But for essentially the first like 3 or 4 months after they're born, carrying them is like necessary for the development.
Yes.
And so when you put a baby down and they cry and you pick them up and they stop, that's training you that when you pick them up, it's better for your baby because they're not crying. And so they have just recently been doing a lot of research into this because kids crave and need to be close to their caregiver all the time. If you think about it, like, developmentally, like, obviously the closer they are to you and to nourishment and to care, the better off they're going to be long term, right?
Yeah.
But it also helps with a ton of like brain development.
Oh yeah,
and
it's so important.
like,
well, and
everything.
then people who like reactive attachment disorder is like a thing when they don't form that bond. I mean, this is how you get your
Serial killers.
Yeah, and your psychopaths basically, because they don't know how to feel empathy and emotion to an
Because they don't
extent.
create a
Not
bond.
saying that everyone becomes a serial killer, but it's so important to have that bond so early on.
Babies will actually die.
if they're not
without
touched.
attachment, they'll
Yeah.
just straight up
Which
die.
makes you wonder how many mothers or parents actually listen to those doctors.
I know, back then.
And be like, screw you, doc. Like, no, my baby is crying right now.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of.
Well, and then it didn't last for very long, though, because I think in the 70s, Harlow, this guy named Harlow, and I don't remember his first name, but he was a psychologist and he did studies to prove that love was really necessary. And he did monkeys. And basically there was a wire monkey that had the food and a soft cloth monkey that was really soft. And the baby monkey would always, go eat, but would spend its whole time with the fake mother that was really soft and cuddly. But what was really interesting about him is that he was an awful father. According to the podcast I listened, they were like, oh, it makes sense. Like, the one guy who was seeking to understand love the most is the one that needed it probably the most. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's
I
also
definitely,
having
I was
holidays.
not one of those parents who was like, I didn't ever do like cry it out methods for the most part. And
There's no good research behind that mentality.
what?
That you should let them cry it out.
no.
Well, no, I just mean like
Most
people
of it's
sleep
been
train and people do all
debunked.
kinds of different things. And I totally understand that, like needing your kid to get on a schedule and sleep. But I was never the kind of mom who would just be like, I'm just going to let them cry until they figure it out. Like, yes, they need to learn how to self-soothe, but I was never the person who was just going to let them figure it out on their own. Like, I'd rather hold them and rock them to sleep as long as they need it.
Sure.
So the 4th trimester, the reason why we developed this way is because there's a trade-off between brain growth and like predators, natural predators. So in order for us to be as intelligent as we are, we have to have bigger brains, and bigger heads mean more like pain and obviously complications when delivering a child.
Yeah.
So like our brains can only get so large in the womb, so then we have the birth and then we take care of the child up until readiness, because other natural animals like giraffes and deer and stuff, well, like, plop them out and they're ready to go.
Yeah, they can just walk
They're kind of
immediately.
awkward when they walk, but for the most part they're like ready to go, and it's because they have natural
Yeah.
predators.
Within hours, yeah.
Like the moment they're born, like
yeah.
things are hunting them, and
That's
so they have to
true.
have that. And so this kind of trade-off occurred as we started to get more protective of our things, because Neanderthals and
Preolithic
era.
Missa
Yeah.
knows words.
So there's like Homo sapien, there is the Neanderthal, and before that there is Homo erectus. And so Homo erectus actually had a larger head, and the Neanderthals had a larger head than Homo sapien. And the reason why is because they had more natural predators, and so they had come out of the womb more ready to take care of themselves.
So you think? So I was gonna say. So you're saying they're smarter
So
than us?
they were bigger, and they had larger heads. Anyway, so they just had to be more ready
Yeah.
when they were
Moral
born.
of the story is pick up your babies and cuddle them as much as possible. And if you need to figure out how to use a ring sling, I will tell you.
Yeah. baby love is important.
If anybody's having a baby, I'll give
So an
you
orphanage is they'll hire nurses that their entire job will just go around and cuddle the babies.
There's like
they'll
I've
pick
heard
them up, they'll
stories.
cuddle them.
I mean,
go to
some
the next
people
one.
volunteer to do that too.
Yeah,
there was
it's
like
just
an older man that made the news or something, because he would go
cuddle the NICU
yeah, that's so
because
sweet.
their parents can't be there all the time.
That's a rough sounding job to me.
Really?
Go cuddle babies.
Oh,
Well,
that
no,
hurts my
not the
heart.
fact that you can go and cuddle babies,
But NICU babies in particular.
you're just thinking about like, I'll do it, but where are your parents type of thing.
Well,
It's not that. It's just that a lot of times in the NICU, like you can't be there. Like there's time limits.
Yeah.
I was thinking in like orphanage type.
Yeah,
of
orphanages
Oh.
would be.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
would be
That's
really
where I
hard.
was thinking it would be hard.
But I mean, it's like either you're doing it or nobody's doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's true.
Like I'd rather me do it than wonder if anybody's doing it.
Because along with that study, they found out that actually that in this orphanage they were losing
yeah,
children.
in Russia.
Yeah, babies
And
were
so they
dying.
just
'cause
like
but the
hired
babies that
people
lived
to,
were
like,
ones because the night janitor would come and snuggle them at night,
Yeah.
and they
You
were the
know
only
what?
ones that lived.
I just listened to this podcast too about a kiddo who was adopted from an orphanage. I think it was in Russia even, and he had reactive attachment disorder. And so what the therapist did is that they basically, like, the kiddo had to be by his mom 24 hours a day, just like you would as an infant, in order to try and build that bond. And there was something else that they did that was pretty drastic, but in the end, it actually kind of started to work. And they talked about it on this podcast. It was kind of blew my mind. I was
I
like,
mean,
whoa.
in the end,
Like it
Well,
took.
he didn't end up becoming a serial
Yeah,
killer.
and he was able to he was able to not hate his parents as much, and he was able to because he would have huge tantrums. He was 7, he was throwing chairs and all kinds of craziness, and I mean, he had no empathy. Like, he didn't have that, obviously in the orphanage, and so yeah, they did this thing where, he was a teenager, and when he was starting to struggle, that was the other thing, that the parents would pick him up and put him on his lap, and they would just do really close face-to-face contact, or look at each other in the eyes for a certain amount of time, and talk and say, oh, we love you, and blah blah blah, just
connect.
to try, just as you would as a baby, and so to some extent it helped. But just the parents, they're like, it's a love, unconditional love is a tough job, is what it's not for the faint of heart, is kind of what the whole point was, which I thought was interesting.
No, they talk about all the time when you have a baby that skin to skin is really, really important for bonding, and it also helps with your breast milk production and with babies keeping their temperature regulated better. And so that's one of the things that when you're in the hospital and you deliver a baby, they'll immediately do skin to skin as fast as possible. And they found that it even works up in, people who adopt babies who are older, so 2 or 3 years old. If you sit and do skin to skin with them, it does the same thing as it would do for an infant. It creates the attachment of you, because your body picks up on cues from their body temperature, and you're sharing that space so closely that you're picking up on other things too, like your bodies are communicating.
Yeah.
And so it helps them to attach.
Oh, you know what's
as little babies.
Also interesting about that skin to skin is that when a baby comes out of the mother, that a part of the mother is on the baby, the bacteria becomes part of the baby, and that helps the baby fight other.
That's why they like to do a
Builds up an
vaginal
immune
birth
system.
as often as possible.
Yeah.
For a myriad of reasons, but that's another one, is that it gives them natural immunities when they go through your birth canal.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
A part of the mother is just already a part of you, and is a part of you even to this day. You have.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my arms right now, whoa.
My mom's DNA is
But it's true, isn't that just kind of
Bugs
wild?
living in your eyebrows.
Anyways.
Speaking of things that have no evolutionary purpose, they also have no reason for having a mind.
Who? Bugs?
No, just humans.
Have no reason for having a mind?
Yeah, evolutionarily, we have no reason for having a mind.
Well, do you believe in the evolutionary psychological standpoint though?
No, you're saying love. Love has
yeah.
actual no evolutionary purpose, right?
Oh, okay.
We need the desire to reproduce to produce the species,
Yeah,
right? But
if
love
you
itself
break it down.
doesn't actually have we don't gain any evolutionary
But obviously we
advantage
do though.
over it.
We survive.
Yeah, but we could survive without it. If we were just automatons,
I guess, yeah.
we would
that's
survive.
true.
Most animals in the animal kingdom survive by basically a series of algorithms. The mind, imagination, and all of the things that make up the mind, it's just noise when it comes to an evolutionary perspective, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a reason to have a mind. You're not somehow superior as a creature by having a mind. You don't survive better. The drives for reproduction, sleep, food or all you necessarily need for survival, right?
So you're saying like the brain was just a fluke in the evolutionary
Not the brain,
chain?
but just like your mind, like your
thoughts,
consciousness, your
complexity.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
like
you think that
your emotions, your emotional.
You're saying that and like the thought of love and stuff, that's just kind of like a fluke that just happened to be.
Well, they don't know.
There.
They don't know how it happens. Like it stumps evolutionary. Like even like devout. I mean, if you look at it from like the idea of a soul, like if you believe in a soul, like that's kind of the religious side of things, right?
Yeah.
Well, atheists and the religious or the scientific community don't believe in souls, obviously, but they can't answer like what the freak is our mind. Like what is your consciousness? There's no reason for you to have it. There's no reason for you to love or to hate or like. Evolutionarily, it's not there. One of the theories is it's just like a byproduct of development, but that's kind of a.
I think, therefore, I am. Who said that?
William Shakespeare.
10, 9,
No, it wasn't William
8,
Shakespeare.
7.
It was a
5.
A Greek philosopher.
4.
Rene
3.
Descartes.
2.
Yeah, Missa.
Good
I
job.
think, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
Somebody look that up.
I think before.
Well, what do you think though? What do you think? Why? What do you think the whole reason for that is?
I believe in a soul.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it kind of disproves almost in a way like cycle or evolution.
Yeah, Rene Descartes.
It makes sense. Okay, well here's a quote for you.
Okay.
Plato, behold your man, and then a naked chicken.
What the? Naked chicken? Yeah. Chickens are already naked.
No, like a featherless chicken.
Oh. I was like, what? Do chickens normally have pants where you're from?
It was a student of Plato. He was the first cynic.
Oh.
He was this like cranky old man, and Plato was like, somebody asked Plato what defines a man, like what separates a man.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a bipedal, featherless creature.
Uh-huh.
And so he plucked all the feathers out of a chicken, and in the middle of a lecture, Plato's like giving a lecture, he like kicks open the door and like puts this like featherless chicken, and it's like, behold, man.
Oh,
and like peaced out.
Dang, just drop the mic. That was a drop the mic moment.
Yeah, no, he's like one of the world's first cynics. Like all he had was a bull. He just was homeless.
Funny.
And he's a really funny guy. I don't remember his name, but he's like famous because he was just this crazy, super intelligent dude who just lived without nothing. He just like was this homeless dude and would insult people and thought people were full of crap. And yeah,
That's
behold,
so
man. What's his quote? One of the things that made famous for.
I like it.
He had a bull. All he had was the only worldly possession was a like wooden bull or whatever.
Did you know that Michelangelo and some of those Renaissance artists that are so famous started off as plagiarists?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the I found one Tommy didn't know.
Yeah, and they practice.
So that's how they got good. It's basically
they
because
plagiarized so often, and they found their own style, and then they started doing their own work.
Well, because the whole thing is like back in the day. What century is that? I don't even know. I don't want to say it for fast. Like anyways, 16th century maybe.
Around the Renaissance.
Renaissance, basically. Like back then, you know, they didn't have printers and cameras and whatnot, and so Photoshop, whatever.
Make
so
this
they would
painting from my house.
Yeah, so if someone wanted a copy of a painting, like you just need to find a great artist, and that's how a lot of them started out, and then they just kind of did their own thing eventually. But you know, it's kind of interesting because now there's like plagiarism is so bad, and like if you copy somebody's artwork, it's such a bad thing. But that's
because so when I was in Paris, we went to the Orangerie, which is a smaller art gallery next to the Louvre, and I mean, I knew this because I took art history, but it had a lot of Picasso's original work, like his first work when he was an apprentice, because he was classically trained. He was a classically trained painter before he was like the famous Picasso, before he made all the famous paintings that really like did impressionist art. And I think that when you're learning, because they were like, he learned under the original masters, and the masters would paint paintings, and then their students would paint the same thing using all of the color theory and all the layering techniques and all that kind of stuff, because you have to know how to do that to classically paint, and you have to know classically paint to know where you can like break the rules and do the correct coloring and all that kind of stuff. So you have to know the rules before you can break them. And I think with anyone, it works kind of the same way. Like, just because Michelangelo and Da Vinci and all these people were learning at a certain point how to copy doesn't mean that they were plagiarists necessarily. I mean, maybe they were doing it for their own gain. Maybe there was like a backstory that is more nefarious. But to become a great artist, you have to first imitate. Like, you have to learn how to do it.
Yeah, well, I guess that's like...
Well, I guess they weren't taking other people... They weren't doing copies of other people's work and then labeling it as theirs.
Yeah,
so
no.
I guess it wasn't plagiarism.
Yeah, so, but, you know, that's just kind of just a word right here. That
I get what you're saying, though.
Used separately, but yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, that's how they got good, is that they learned how to do...
Yeah, and I don't know how else you would learn how to do that. Like, you can self-teach, obviously, but... even people who are self-taught have to start somewhere. Like, most people, if you see people that learn to draw, right, as kids, they're not, most of the time, because, I mean, my kids come up with all kinds of random stuff, right? But Winter will try to draw something that she's seen before. Or she'll see me draw something and try to do the same thing.
Yeah,
and that's just how you learn and develop your talent. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, and I wasn't saying that's a bad thing. It's just a lot of people are really surprised by that, you know? Because that's not really well known, or that they don't think about. No, like everyone starts from somewhere.
There's a developmental period where you like are experimenting and figuring it out, and then you learn your own style. And I think the same thing goes for, like, you know, recording artists and like all kinds of different artists, is that you have to start somewhere, and most of them will start by imitating other people. Like, you think about like Justin Bieber and Shawn Mendes and
the true classical artists.
No, that's not what I mean. That's what I mean. But if you think about their success story, where did they start? They started on YouTube copying other people's
stuff.
Like, they didn't start
doing covers.
Yeah, they do covers.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of artists get started that way.
Yeah. So we're about an hour and 2 minutes now.
Yeah, and it's bedtime for bonzos.
Do you wanna? Is there any other random facts? Any last words?
Michelangelo got started by dissecting corpses in the graveyard.
Really?
I feel like I heard that too.
If you look in the Sistine Chapel, there's actually a bunch of anatomically pristine brains painted into the Sistine Chapel.
Interesting.
Like the larynx, or like the throat of God,
I actually did see a study about that.
And the human spine.
Yeah. Actually, I remember learning about that in neurobiology.
There's like cross sections of the brain too. It's not like the normal brain, like the side view. Like, there's all the different.
Hey, anybody who's been to the Sistine Chapel, say I. I.
Says Sam.
Just me.
Dang, Sam just flexed on us
in person.
all. I guess she's the winner of the night.
I guess I'll just flex
We'll
with
just
this
effing
quote
go
that I
home.
base absolutely no fact on anything. Is in 1386, a pig in France was executed by public hanging for murdering a child.
That seems legit. That checks out.
Did you know? One more. Did you know that a form of medieval torture was taking a casting of a pig anus and making you wear it around your neck?
Oh,
in public?
F.
Oh,
I'm
I just
out.
think of the Judas chair whenever I think of
Judas chair.
Yeah.
Let's
or
not
Iron
talk about
Maiden.
torture.
Iron Maiden.
There's some messed up stuff.
No, maybe that's not
Iron
a good
Maidens are
night.
pretty
Let's
gnarly,
leave on a
too.
happy note. What's a happy?
Go.
I just thought it was
Missa.
funny that they thought that like a torture device was the mold of a pig anus.
Oh, yeah, people are
I
weird.
think that's pretty funny.
What's a fun fact? Fun fact?
There are no fun facts.
Tommy, what's a fun fact?
Fun fact, Thomas is colorblind.
It's true.
Oh.
There are 3 cones
Fun fact,
in the human eye.
Dan is colorblind.
Yeah.
He's more colorblind than me, though.
There are 3 cones in the human eye that perceive color. And they perceive color. So basically how you perceive color is when your eyes receive light. They try to figure out how activated each of those 3 cones are.
Yep.
And when you're colorblind, the crossover points, which are normally fairly defined, are actually shifted slightly.
Were you there? Did you do Dan's colorblind glasses? I just
I
loved
can't believe
it.
I lost those, man. I'm so upset
He lost
still.
them, but I just love it when Dad put them on. Were you there when Dad put them on? And
Like
how
triple took.
emotional he got. And
Yeah, no, it's intense. I thought all the people on
insane.
YouTube that were putting on and being like, whoa, I was like, oh, a bunch of crap. And
Yeah.
I tried them. I was like, yeah, I could see it.
yeah, that's
It's like, really, the world isn't this dull looking. Oh.
Yeah. That was weird.
Good. That's like,
Yeah, it is strange.
did you feel like you were living in a different world entirely?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Mantis shrimp, I think, have 7 cones. It's
Yeah, I
either
need to
5 or
get him.
7.
I need to
Yeah,
get
they
him
have
a
a
pair.
ton. Mantis shrimp are insane.
I think it's
see all
either
the
5 or
colors.
7. I can't remember.
How many do we
I
have?
think they
We
have
have
like
3.
We have
I
the
thought
3,
they had
that's right.
6 actually.
What?
Mantis shrimp.
Maybe. I just know they
I
have
remember the
considerably
number 6.
more than
Yeah,
we do.
they see all kinds
We have
of
3.
shades and
That'd be cool
colors
if we
that
could
they
see what
see-
they see.
They can also
exponentially more colors
punch
than
and
we
break
do.
the sound barrier.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
punch, it creates
That punch is crazy.
We like mantis shrimp.
it actually
Anyway,
creates a vacuum in the
Yeah,
thing, 'cause
and
it
it's a
punches
heat
so
pocket.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know so much, guys.
We know. We're smart.
so many random
smart.
We
facts.
get smart.
So
all
many
the
random
things in our
facts.
head. See, I knew it would be good. I didn't even get down all my list. I know you want to talk about marijuana, but I guess we'll save that for another time, huh, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get on rant. I get pretty ranty when it comes to weed.
Really? Like you're for it or against it?
For it.
I get pretty ranty about weed.
Dang. Okay, guys, we're gonna do
Not that
another
he smokes
podcast
any,
someday
one
with
day.
Tommy and marijuana and.
It's just gonna be Thomas and a microphone. He's just gonna.
Let me tell you about Nixon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway,
Oh yeah. Okay. Never mind.
it's been fun hanging out with the exercise
Minute.
man.
We
An
can
hour.
make it anywhere close to 3 a.m.
Hallelujah.
We could.
Failures,
Tired.
guys.
Do you guys want to do
Failures.
another one? We
No.
could.
Let's do another,
tired.
like, 4.
Oh.
I
Then
wanna-
we'll hit 3 out.
I want to go to bed.
So we did this thing where we all make a noise and we make a song. Okay, go.
And then there's this.
Don't
Nothing.
make Thomas sing a song because he's tone deaf as a stone. Let's go to bed because we're all really tired. It's been a really fun night.
Yeah.
That was a dumb song.
All right. Well, this was podcasting with the exercise man, exercising with the podcast man. Whatever. Missa, your guest host. Thank you guys for being here tonight.
Thanks for having
And
us.
Jimmy Fallon will be on your show soon, I'm sure.
Bye.
Bye. Love you guys. Have a good night. We gotta have like a saying where we say like something.
What do you want to say?
Stay out of trouble.
Stay.
Sounds good.
Eliminate the question.
Behold, man.
I think they're 4 a.m. All right. Adios.